Welcome aboard, Casey.
Hi.
It says John is Staffu, but we know who you are.
It's not John, it's me.
We're just trying to get up on YouTube Live, Casey, and then we're going to start the meeting. And if you could mute your microphone, please, while you're not.
Sorry.
That's okay, hon. Because we got that old-fashioned phone ringing in the background. We know it's the police department. Ah! So you having trouble?
No, it says live on my end. Do you not see it?
No. Oh, are we on YouTube now?
Yep, it says live on YouTube.
Okay, I'm sorry. Sorry for the delay. Welcome to the meeting of the Board of Trustees for June 7th, the first meeting of the month. As always, we start our meetings with a special guest appearance to sing our national anthem. Tonight we have
Thank you for having me. I would ask at this time everybody to stand, place your right hand over your heart, and join in singing our national anthem. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars rule the perilous fight? O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bomb bursting in air, came through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Oh, thank you so much. That's our very own Carolyn Benson. We love you, Carolyn. Thank you so much. We know how much you love the veterans, and your musical accolades have been focused on, focusing on veterans and helping veterans. So I want to make sure we're all here this evening. We're going to go to the agenda, and the first thing on the agenda is we do have Officer Casey from Suffolk County with us, and Chief Lute to discuss any public safety issues or concerns from the surrounding area. Hi, Casey. How are you tonight?
Hi, good, how are you?
I'm excellent, thank you.
Good.
So,
Okay, everybody,
I'm sorry, Chief, are you there?
I am here.
Hi, Chief. How are you this evening?
I'm very well, thank you. How about you guys?
Excellent, excellent. So you want to start with Casey? Let's open the floor to Casey first, Chief.
Sure.
hi, everybody. Okay, my name is Casey Berry. I'm a 6th Precinct COPE officer. I'm going to be going through some criminal data and statistics that we have. What we do is present some statistics each month. We provide those numbers that what they looked like this time last year and compare them to the numbers this year. So I'm going to start with telling you how many calls for service that we had in 2020, the time period being May 3rd to June 7th. Last year we had 323 calls for service, and this year we had 376. And then what we do is we break down for you some certain crimes and charges that we have. Aggravated harassment being one. We had 0 last year, 0 this year. Assaults, 0 last year, 0 this year. Burglary, 1 last year, 1 this year. Where was that burg? That burg was at on Jefferson Landing, and the individual left their door open and unlocked. So a reminder for everybody to keep their doors locked and closed when your home is unoccupied. That is still under investigation. Criminal mischief, there were 3 last year and 2 this year. Criminal mischief means like damage to property. And those 2 that we have, one was actually Joey Z. Everybody knows and loves, I'm sure, Joey Z and the food there. What it was 2 individuals who were fighting, and It looked like it seemed like one individual pushed another into the window. The glass broke. They fled on foot. We don't have those individuals. I believe that's still under investigation as well. And another was a broken window of a vehicle in front of the individual's home. And that's under investigation as well. Grand larceny, 0 last year, 1 this year. And that grand larceny, what was that? That was a car. That was a car in front of somebody's home with the keys in it, possibly by a known party, and that's still under investigation. Sorry, I'm thumbing around these pages. Harassment, there were 7 last year and 5 this year. Harassment means really when somebody's annoyed, alarmed, or maybe like somebody spits in somebody's face or pushes somebody or slaps them. What we have here was 2 of them were domestics. And then what were the other 2? Hold on, sorry. So domestic, basically, obviously meaning 2 individuals that are either related or know each other. The other one was at Mather Hospital, a security guard and a patient. And then the other one was domestic to hold on. Did I say 3? 1, 2, domestic, security, domestic. Oh, mutual combatants, domestic. So those 2 charges were 1 actual situation between 2 individuals who were related. So total criminal incidents, 20 last year, 15 this year. I think that looks beautiful, in my opinion, of Port Jefferson Village. A lot of domestic situations, a lot of things going on between parties. Crime is down. It's very clear. All the numbers speak for themselves. And I think it also says a lot considering where we were at this time last year. You know, it was COVID. Things weren't really up and running yet. And to see numbers looking like they looked last year is really nice to see in the village.
Thank you very much.
Non-criminal incidents. That's like aided cases, people going to the hospital or somebody getting ill or something like that. 77 last year, 84 this year. And disturbances, non-criminal, could be a neighbor dispute, helping with an animal, anything that's non-criminal, 89 last year and 100 this year. So total of non-criminal incidents were 296 last year and 342 this year. Your car accidents were 4 last year and 15 this year. Total traffic summonses, 284 written last year and 289 this year. So that looks the same too, which is nice. And total number of arrests were 4 last year and 5 this year. So that's how our research analyst breaks down the crime data for your meetings. In terms of events coming up, I'll be sending some flyers to Teresa. You guys can put them on the website if you'd like. We do have something at Quorum Lanes coming up, a Paw Patrol Quorum thing. If any, a bowling event for 2 hours this Saturday, if anybody would like to attend. The police department will be there with some furry dressed up Paw Patrol people, Paw Patrol dogs. And the rest I can send to her and you guys can decide if you want to, let the village know about it.
And we have you have the 6th precinct is having the
Thank you.
6th precinct community meeting tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., correct?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, we have our precinct community meeting resuming at the precinct. So first time since COVID in the precinct tomorrow morning. We alternated every month, evenings and nights, to try to accommodate everybody's schedules. And tomorrow is 10 a.m. Thank you for reminding me.
Oh, that's okay. And I encourage anybody who's interested to go to the precinct meeting. You get to see the data drilled down within the 6th. You see how large the 6th precinct actually is. And you have a better understanding of what the tasks that our 6th are charged with. So thank you, Casey.
Yes, and everybody knows too, you have the whiskey unit, you have 2 officers in the village, which has been great. I know I was just talking to a couple of the officers before that were worked it this weekend. So you have some extra Suffolk County police officers in the village walking around on foot in the cars, which is great, especially for summertime.
Chief, you want to expand on that a little bit for us, please?
Sure. First off, the several reported occurrences up and around Waterview, Stern, Rosita, and Dock. I think that included the stolen car with the keys in the car. Lock the cars. Keep your house keys in the house. Don't leave your car unlocked with a garage door opener, especially if you have a way to get into the house from the garage. Try to keep that locked up. We do have the whiskey team. We're grateful to have them. They're both very young and active officers, very tenacious. They've already made an impact in just a week and a half they've been here. Megan and Ryan, we'll give a shout out to them. Great people. We also have notified Suffolk County PD, Lieutenant Merther in Crime Control referenced some of the things we've been seeing up around Rosita and Dock and some of the complaints we've been getting. And our guys have been checking on the afternoon shift to midnights, and the midnight shift now on Suffolk County PD is making regular checks of that entire area. They drive each street with marked units. So I think we're being covered very well up there. And I think these guys are doing a great job already. I don't have much else tonight except just scroll down. We have a couple of guys on bikes now, our own guys. We have the Suffolk County PD guys. They come on Saturdays, sometimes on Sundays. We have our own guys. Had another guy out today. Over the weekend, we had to pull them back because we had so much rain, and we don't want them out there in the rain. But we have them scheduled, and you'll see our guys out there on the bikes all around the village. We also have our patrols walking stop and walk patrols, as well as Suffolk PD does the exact same thing. We're kind of emulating them. We have our guys get out. They walk Main Street for several hours a day. Each unit takes a half an hour and does it twice a day. So if we have 5 guys on, you have a ton of hours out there on the street, on Main Street, East Main, Barnum, and in that area. And that's pretty much it for me, Mayor.
Chief, you also went down to the Real-Time Crime Center. I know
We
Kathy
did.
will probably give a report under her talking points, but you had the opportunity to also.
I was going to leave that for Kathy, but yes,
Okay.
we went down, Kevin Wood, myself, and of course, Trustee Snaden. The acting commissioner met us there, and he gave us a review and showed us all the updates. We were actually, I guess, the first village to join on, the first entity to join on, municipality. So we have a prominent post up there in their room. We have, I believe, 6 cameras up there, 6 TV screens. Very, very nice setup. They're making leaps and bounds. They're advancing in the technology and in how it all works. And that real-time center is now it's 7 days a week. It used to be Monday through Friday. It's now 7 days a week, which is excellent. It's a great plus for our village.
And I was pleased to learn that former code officer Sierra Little is there
Yes.
working at the Real-Time Crime Center. I
Yes.
think that's fantastic news that she was promoted on up. She got some good training with our bureau and is now working full-time
We-
for the
We were
police
sad.
department.
We were sad to leave, to
Yeah,
have her
I know.
leave. She was our 2020 Officer of the Year.
Yes.
And she's a personal friend of all of us here, but myself. And I've kept in contact with her. She's actually still on our payroll, and she'd like to come back part-time, and we're going to have her come back and do that.
Excellent. I'm happy to have her, but I didn't want to lose her, period.
No, we didn't want to lose her.
Are there any comments from the public? Teresa, are you asking any of the viewers this evening if they have a question for either Chief Flute or Officer Casey?
I did, and I see somebody has raised their hand. Oh, it looks like they already put it down. So if somebody raised their hand and would like to ask a question. Okay, I see Isabella Stengel. I
Okay,
will bring her into, please state your name and address for the record and turn on your camera and your audio, please.
here she comes. Welcome, Isabella. How are you? Just have to unmute your microphone, please.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
We sure can.
Hi,
Welcome.
thank you for having me. I live on East Broadway, 106 East Broadway, and I'm very concerned about the cars racing up the street. It seems like once they get past Stanford's, they race up the street, and we've had many accidents here. One very recently, the other night, about 12:30 at night. If that was my car, I certainly would have been very upset. But on a more serious note, I don't know if it was a fatal accident, but I know we've had some fatalities in the past. Seems like it's always weekends in the summertime, in the winter here. It is such a quaint town and a lovely village. And I really hate to see, more fatalities. I think it's very dangerous. And I think it's only a matter of time when we have more fatalities or, God forbid, a child or something. So I'd really like to see something done. I'm not quite sure what. I really don't have an answer, unfortunately. But perhaps more patrols as they're, right on East Broadway as they're going up the street. So thank you.
Isabella,
My question.
you're welcome. Is it, living right on the street there, is it nighttime? Is it daytime? It doesn't matter.
Very late at night, it seems,
At night, okay.
most often.
I can echo Isabella's concerns. I know I've noted this before, living on Main Street, going up one of the other hills, and I have to imagine this is also happening on West Broadway, both East and West Broadway. It's sort of Long Island's unofficial drag strip. In a way, I think the cars love to come down, one of the hills and race up another, and sort of show off the noises the cars can make, much to the dismay of residents who live near there, but much more than the noise disturbances, the safety factors. And so, I know maybe once or twice in the 8 years we've lived here, I've seen a Suffolk police car, and we've been very happy to see them sort of stationed here on Franklin Street. And I'd love to see more of that. But that was during the day, so I'd love to maybe just have more of a presence. Be perhaps issuing tickets to people speeding at these times. I believe there's communities of people who have fast, loud cars, and if the word gets out, perhaps that Port Chaff is not the place to go race your car around, that could be an effective method. But I think our representative from Suffolk PD can speak more to that.
Yeah, so thank you for bringing this up, Isabella. And what we can do is with East Broadway, we can make that a patrol check. We have done this before, and we'll do it again. And what that is a database that we have within our police department. In each sector car, the officers have access to this, and they're responsible as a sector car operator to log into that and look at it during their tour of duty. And as long as their patrol time and calls allow, in their downtime, they should be enforcing whatever patrol checks we have active in their sector at that time. And I say at that time because sadly, this is a very chronic complaint right now, more than ever. We're finding our phones are ringing off the hook in here. Not looking for sympathy, but I'm just saying, just to let you understand the volume of complaints and concerns about speeding is like, we can't even keep up with it. And as much as we would like to, we can't be everywhere at once. So that's why I appreciate you bringing it up, because what I will do is make this be a patrol check for a period of time, maybe during the summertime. And you'll see us more there during the summer. I was a village resident up until very recently myself. I didn't leave for a bad reason, but I know from living in the village and working there, it's everybody's speeding everywhere. We'll do our best to enforce for the summer, but you might be signing on in the fall, Isabella, and you might say, hey, Casey, it's kicked back up again. Can you put that back in there? So I just want you to know that while we communicate that to our officers, not just our patrol officers, I mentioned patrol, but we'll also be giving it to our enforcement teams. And those guys and girls are not responding to 911 calls. Their role is enforcement. So we'll be looking at this like kind of like a double-pronged approach from both angles. It might not be perfect, but please continue to communicate to us, because we can only enforce where you tell us to, where you tell us that the real problems are. And while it's pretty ubiquitous right now, I know there are certain hot spots, and East Broadway is definitely one of them for sure.
Yes. Thank you, officer. What's the best way to advise you?
Sure. Yeah. Take down my number if anybody, or maybe I can put that in the chat in a second. It's 854-8689, area code 631-854-8689. That's directly to our COPE office, and we have an answering machine here when we're not in the office.
Okay. Great.
I'm also going to put in the chat my email. Okay.
Great. Thank you.
I could just
You're welcome.
figure that out.
Casey,
Thank you, Isabella.
Casey, can you include East, West Broadway, Main Street, and Barnum for right now
Okay, sure.
in those checks? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Isabella. Thank you
Chief,
for coming on.
Chief, is that a location that would work for our speed trailer?
For these kids, I don't think so. I actually witnessed one come down the hill, and he actually sped up to see how fast he could get the speed trailer to go. It's actually in front of someone's area right now.
And Teresa, do we have anyone else for public safety?
I don't see anyone else with their hand raised at the moment.
Okay, thank you. Officer Casey, thank you so much for participating. And of course, anybody who needs help contacting Suffolk, you can always call Code Bureau. They'll direct you in the right location or visit our website. Everybody should have received their, unfortunately, everybody should have received their tax bill. You got a nice little green sticker in there to put inside your kitchen cabinet or by your phone, if you still have one in the kitchen, and with the number to call Code 7 days a week, 10 a.m. to midnight. Correct, Chief?
Yes, 774-0066. There are extra stickers downstairs in the clerk's office if need be. They can stop in and pick those up.
Okay, thank you. All right, we're going to move on with the agenda. Thank you again for providing the statistics. And Chief, thank you for your service. And Casey, thank the entire sixth force.
Thank you. Stay
Thank you,
safe and
Mayor.
healthy.
Thank you. Okay, first item on the agenda is to approve the minutes for May 17th. And after review, did we have any suggested additions, alterations, amendments for Clerk Sakovich? Nope. Okay, thank you, Barbara. They read well. We have several new hires here. These are all seasonal hires. So number 2 is for a golf pro shop starter. And Mr. Cairn says this is his first go with us, correct? He's not a repeat?
He's not a repeat.
Okay. We're also procuring a ball machine for the tennis pro shop area. I guess they had a ball machine there that's shot out one too many balls, huh?
It's pretty ancient. I think it's been
Yeah.
there since before you and I.
I think so. Probably when I was the pro there. That's when it came around. Number 4 is a nice list of young people. And Barbara, thank you so much for putting Port Jefferson after the young people's names here so that we can continue to make an initiative and a concerted effort and, to hire our kids first. So we have, these are all camp directors, camp counselors, lifeguards, and this is the typical seasonal staff that comes to manage our beaches, run our programs down at the beach, and maintain safety. It's interesting, this past weekend, it was very hot. Beach was nicely populated with village residents. The snack shack was open. And a lot of questions about when does the beach officially open? A lot of people think Memorial Day is the official opening of the beach, but no, it's the end of June. It's been that way for, I think, 50 years plus. But June 25th, I think, Stan, the official
Yes.
opening.
June 25th, we'll have lifeguards.
Okay, and can you tell us a little bit where the lifeguard stands are going to be located? Do we know?
Yeah, I was going to do that in a report, but I can do it now. On the East Beach, we're moving more to the east. Approximately halfway down the parking lot will be the lifeguards coverage area.
Okay,
Our camps are going to move down that way also. We scheduled a dive for both beaches just because this is a brand new area. They'll be diving the area to make sure there's no obstacles underneath the water.
yeah, they sweep the
Right. And as soon as we
the
get
bottom
that,
of the,
as soon as we get that dive done, we'll determine the exact location of that.
and so the Parks Department will then set the ropes and that you'll see the chairs delivered, etc.
The anchors will go in, the ropes will go in, the stands will go up.
There's
Yeah,
also a lot,
West
sorry.
Beach, there's no change.
okay.
It'll be the same as it was last year.
Okay. This year also, a lot of people were asking, since we have a lot of new beach in front of the rip rock wall there, people were asking if we're going to be installing like a stairway over the stone. Joe did confirm that will be happening. And so you won't have to walk to the furthest points of the parking lot to access the beach. There will be a ramp over the rocks.
That's gonna be very, very helpful for the camps also.
Yeah. So any questions with the new hires? Number 4. I think that's pretty straightforward. Thank you, Barbara and Stan and Renee for putting that long list together. Number 5 is actually a repeat. So we're going to strike that from the agenda. That was something we had approved.
We already
Uh,
approved it on January 19th. Yes.
All right, okay. Thought I was seeing triple. Request for proposal. This is a great initiative. We had received a grant from New York State for coastal resiliency, $87,000 to further a plan that we had initiated with Campani and Schwarting. We had done the flood study. So Rebecca is chairing this committee, working with some of the Conservation Advisory Committee people and Campani and Schwarting as the consultants. You folks received the document that was produced. The RFP was produced by Campani and Schwarting, reviewed by the committee, Rebecca and I, and it's now ready to send this plan out for a request for a proposal from the engineering firms that will be, doing some further designs for some of the flood remediation concepts that were discussed in the flood report. Rebecca, is this going to be under your report tonight to kind of expand on, or?
It's not on my agenda. Since
Okay.
it's here, we can brief it now if that's the most efficient thing.
Yep, just, I'm going to give you like a minute if you want. Everybody, the board has the document. What I'd like to do is just advance the RFP going out. That's the resolution tonight, and I encourage the board members to review it and read it. Rebecca and I can answer questions, and Rebecca, you have the floor.
Yeah, I think the most exciting thing about this grant and this RFP is that what it aims to do is take a lot of plans, which are hopeful visions for environmental projects and infrastructure projects of the village, and turn them into actionable plans. So while the plans that were previously done are sketches per se, what this grant is going to do is turn those sketches into tangible models that the village can then take and use those plans to get grants to do the actual projects. So it's the intermediary that we're getting done now. So we've made it in the work that we've done in the RFP, we've made it very clear that whoever is going to be doing the work, responding to the RFP, that or rather this is the goal. So if you don't see that this is the goal, let us know. The goal is that the work that's going to be done in response to the RFP is to deliver to us actionable plans that we can then go get grants, from the state, from the federal level, from the county, whoever, to complete projects like daylighting the culvert, working on our waterfront so that there's more green space at our waterfront, working on stormwater management, all of these things that both help Port Jeff's flooding issues and also the environmental impacts of the human presence here on the waterfront.
Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you. And thanks to the CAC volunteers who helped put this document together, and of course, Francis and Michael, who know us best. Next item on the agenda. Sorry, guys. Extension of the contract with Social Butterfly. We pay them $2,000 a month. $1,000 is for social media, posting our events, our programs, things that need to be announced, like road closures, paving projects, curb work, PSE&G poles being hardened and strengthened. And the other $1,000 is to maintain the website and post documents there and maintain information, work with Joe directly on updating forms and things of that nature. Number 8, we have the Rinks agreement is expiring. It actually expired in March of 2021. They're asking for a 5-year extension. If you look at the document provided, not only is there a 5-year extension, but we did increase, I believe, the revenue share towards the end of that 5-year extension period. The Rinks has done a great job. They're a fantastic partner for this village. It's a fantastic opportunity for people to do things in the wintertime, and it's a revenue maker for us. It's a win-win relationship, and I see no obstacle advancing that contract for another 5 years. Are there any questions or comments on that?
Question from scanning the document, I didn't see it quickly, but I forget, I believe one summer, did they try doing a roller rink there? Or
They tried to do a roller rink there. Unfortunately, it was not well attended. And the plastic surface and the skating was so slippery and slick that we had a lot of unfortunate incidences. If you, a lot of people thought they were great roller skaters and they ended up in the hospital.
Well, very good. My question is answered then. Thank you.
Yeah, no, we were really disappointed because we were trying to bring back Athena Hall. You know, Theater 3 used to be an indoor roller skating rink. So and we were very enthusiastic about that, but it just didn't fly.
It sounds more like roller derby.
Yeah.
Would also be a similar thing.
Number 9 is for Kevin to attend some more parking trade show. This, I think he was invited, got an invitation through the association to attend. We're just acknowledging him going there for the additional training and bringing back new technology updates for this village. Barbara's adding 2 election workers for the election upcoming on the 15th next week. And 11, Barbara, I guess you and Rebecca have worked out dates with Coastal Stewart to get cleanup at the beaches. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. We're happy to contribute. We also know that a lot of times this cleanup, they tend to get larger pieces of debris, so sometimes it costs money to haul these things away. It's not something you could put in a garbage bag and put in a dumpster sometimes.
And we're particularly excited for the underwater cleanup that they're doing
Right.
as well, which is going to get a lot of things we don't even see.
Right. And that the underwater we pushed farther back into the summertime because of the boating, right? I mean, we wanted to make sure that they cleaned up after the boats. Is that?
So the underwater is August 8th, which will
Right.
get sort of most of our boat traffic, but we pushed back the Centennial Beach cleanup because we have the beach cleanup station, which is going in this Saturday, which I'll talk more about. We're going to do a little beach cleanup then, and then give it a chance to see how, the effectiveness of that beach cleanup station. But again, as Coastal Steward does pick up larger things, we don't expect folks to be picking up, pieces of beams or docks in baskets. So having that at the end of the year is the ideal time.
Good. We have some additional paving coming on to our paving program this year. The treasurer did report at our last board meeting that we received additional CHIPS funds from New York State. So we're tacking on a couple additional roads to the paving project. Eachby Circle, which by the cul-de-sac down there, I totally agree with that. Columbia Street, Lower Brook Road from Caroline to the end of Overbay. Overbay picks up the balance of that road back to West Broadway. So that's an additional 140. I think it says 140, but the actual number is 146, 271.35. Correct, Barb?
Yes, that's correct.
Correct.
Okay. And this number also includes just by the time we pass that resolution to today, the price of asphalt has gone up 20 grand. So we're hoping, Joe, we're hoping to get the asphalt and the paving done. We're on the list, right?
Yes, we are.
Okay, so we're going to try and give our residents as much notice as we possibly can. Joe, what are they going to give us? 3-4 days a week, maybe? Any idea?
I have to talk to Steve as well as Suffolk Paving to find out. I do know historically Suffolk Paving will go out a week, I believe, in advance with flyers to notify the residents.
Right.
Hopefully, I know they're very busy at this time. Hopefully they will do that as well, but we will make sure that there is some advance notice to residents prior to the paving and milling taking place.
Right, so they'll get something at home and they'll see notices that we put out as well.
Correct.
Thank you. We have a addition to the construction down at DNB. Down at East Beach, a change order with DNB for additional inspection and oversight during the construction of the East Beach Wall. Some of you know that on the onset of the project, there was some slope sliding that was not anticipated, so that we incurred some additional oversight fees. Anything to add to that, Joe?
No, you said it perfectly well. It was once the design had changed as a result of the sliding, a decision was made to have our engineers on site for the duration of that project to oversee it. And that was the direct result of this change.
Okay, and as a result, also we have a change order from Galvin Brothers, 9,600, And that was the change of design. We brought the retaining wall out in front of the old retaining wall to stop excavation, for further excavation of the hill. And there was a gap between the retaining wall, and we just poured concrete in between, correct?
Correct. We had to cut out some curbing for that section of the wall and come into the roadway a little to replace the curb as well as some of the asphalt. That's the result of this change.
And likewise, the next resolution is for that same sort of concept at Highlands Boulevard.
Same concept. We didn't remove the curbing there. This was a much longer wall than the retaining wall at East Beach. But the gap between the retaining wall and the curb was calling for just fill and seed. And I think the curbing between, because it's about 6 to 8 inches, it's a very small area. Just from a maintenance perspective and the look of the wall, it made sense to just add some concrete there to clean it up and finish off the wall.
Okay, good. Thank you for overseeing both those projects for us. We are going for a new grant, Suffolk County Downtown Revitalization. We do one of these every year, except for 2020, of course. But in 2019, we applied for the grant to redo all of the brick walkways at Rocket Ship Park. That contract should hopefully be signed this year so we can get to work on those walkways. This is to redo the walkways down at Harborfront Park, in particular the walkway between the Danvers parking lot through the Children's Park to the Village Center. Is that correct, Joe?
That is correct. And it also extends into Harborfront Park as well, with the exception of directly in front of the harbor itself.
Okay, good. Thank you so
it's
much.
all the walkways in that area.
Okay, thank you. We have some cleanup to do here, accepting the resignation of the 2 code officers, Gina and Johnny, effective November of last year, 2020, and October of last year, 2020. I'm sorry that got late cleanup on the calendar here, but the board needs to approve that. The next item is for the Port Jeff Brewing Company to hold their summer night music series. They do this every summer, 7 to 10 p.m. They have some music and they promise to shut the music down at 10 o'clock. They've been good neighbors. And our community loves going down to our own brewery and being outside with their friends. And this year they can listen to some live music. Any questions on that? Okay, good. So warrants as presented by the treasurer. I had one question that was answered today for me.
Yes.
Everything looks good, Denise. Did you want any questions or concerns from the board or any additional comments from the treasurer?
Nope, everything was basically normal. It's 2 years. We have a lot of invoices coming out for May and June. So that's why it looks like a lot more. And the only big ones is the benefits, the medical benefits, and we did our floating docks, which was a big price, but that's really it. Everything looks normal.
So we see people are raising their hands. For those of you who are participating or watching the meeting tonight, the public portion is after the board does the agenda and after the board gives reports, and that's when we take public comment, just as a point of protocol. That's how we do the board meetings the first of the month. All right, so with the exception of number 5. So the motion, is there a motion to approve 1 through 4 and 6 through 19?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second? Second is Trustee Cassay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great job, guys. I'll try and be brief in my report. My battery's running low, but Bruce and I met on a Zoom meeting with the executive team of LIPA. As you know, Mr. Foxon has completed his studies that we had authorized him to do, I believe, approximately 18 months ago or so. We've shared those reports with you. We've had comment on them. We had, I think, a very productive meeting with the representatives from LIPA, and a lot of good discussion about the future of power generation on Long Island and specifically about our plant. But the long and short of it is that the LIPA organization is doing an integrated resource plan study again next year, where they're going to reassess the demand for energy, look at all the output that we have now, look at projects in the works, and especially with NYSERDA and New York Power looking to be to clean it, only using clean energy by 2035 and 2040. There's a lot for them to consider when looking at what the next steps are for our local plants. Bruce, when I get to your report, if you have anything you want to add to that. But Mr. Fox and Bruce and I felt it was a very productive and good meeting. They know we are watching them. They know we are on top of the data. And they know that we are proactive and have been a very, very good partner with them. GEI is the coastal engineering firm that we are working with to get the permission to restore the bluff. We do have the DEC permits. We're waiting for the Army Corps to weigh in and New York State. GEI is looking at the bluff and going to be taking some mapping because there's been a lot of change and the 3 years that it's taken for the DEC to approve our plans. So we're working very closely with GEI. We are pressing to try and get this project out to bid before the end of year so that we can get the work done prior to the spring season. I know we've had a lot of conversation, folks, about the new traffic light arm that was installed. This village had no warning or specifications on that traffic pole. Every other pole I drove from uptown through to Stony Brook this past weekend, every other intersection has 2 metal poles on either side with wire extension. So never in our wildest imaginations do we expect a light pole arm, the size of which has been installed at the bottom of Liberty. We are inquiring into DOT and to our state senator for some help. And if we need you guys to help us with a community petition, we're going to call upon you to help us get that done. End of our fiscal year was May 31st. I want to congratulate this board, the administration, for getting us through a great year of pandemic. Denise, your department deserves a lot of congratulations. We did put a curb on spending. We toed the line. We did not have to lay off one employee. So I'm very proud of keeping everybody at work and keeping this village up and operating and all our services in place. And I applaud us. We'll probably know in the next 3-4 weeks as we close out the books where we stand for the end of the fiscal year. And on my last note, because I know a lot of other people want to chime in, we are still working with NICOM on making an application for our piece of the pie, our share of the pandemic money that the federal government has put out there. So hopefully we'll have some good news on getting some more money so we can continue to pave our roads and fix our curbs and do some extra things in the village that we usually do. But in light of a year where we didn't have any surplus funds or monies for larger projects other than what was already in the works, hopefully we can get some pandemic money to move us forward. With that, I'm going to hand the ball to Deputy Mayor Laux. And if you guys lose me, it's because I'm switching devices, but I'm still here.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. I'm just going to read off some activities that are scheduled through the Village Center. We have a new art show up on the second floor. That'll stay there until June 30th. It's worth looking at. The Ginny Marie schooner is still docked at the Port Jefferson Pier. If you want to take a tour on that old schooner, you can book a tour by going to the JinnyMarieSchooner.com. We're starting a new adult rowing program on June 21st. If you're interested, all you have to do is show up that night. It's at 6 o'clock. We have adult fitness programs running every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, starting at 9 o'clock in the morning, from 9 to 11. If you're into soccer, we have a program called Soccer Shots. This program runs on Saturday at the Erlen Field at 9 o'clock in the morning, and it also runs again on Monday at 5:30 in the Village Center. The farmers market is now operating in the Jean Garant Harborfront Park from 9 till 2. And the Night Heron artists are taking place every Thursday night from 10 until 1 p.m. every Thursday from 10 to 1 p.m. Down in the recreation department, we have the following events and activities scheduled for the summer months. Our beaches, both east and west, will officially open with lifeguard coverage on June 25th. At the East End Beach, as I mentioned earlier, we've moved the lifeguard coverage area further to the east. It'll be located approximately in the center of the parking lot. And as you heard earlier, we will have access over the rock area to get into this area that will be covered by the lifeguards. Also new at the East Beach, this was mentioned earlier also, we have a snack bar now. For the month of June, the hours are Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from noon until about 6 o'clock. Starting in July and extending through the summer, they will be open every day except Wednesdays from noon until 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening. We're running all kinds of tennis programs up at the country club for beginners, intermediates. We have youth tennis camps also being run up at the country club for ages 6 to 10. In addition to these formal camps, we're also offering tennis instruction to our youths every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. These are also up at the country club from 4 to 6 o'clock in the afternoon. We have multi-sport camps that we're going to be running this summer. We're going to run from 9 in the morning until noon through the months of June, July, and August. We still have openings for these camps if you're interested. For more information about any of the recreational programs, please feel free to contact the recreation office at the Village Center. That number there is 631-473-4778. Renee Lemmerman, our recreation director, has put many of these programs together for residents of all ages. Up at the country club, both tennis and golf seasons are well underway. We have very, very healthy memberships. At the present time, we have 278 tennis members. That is an increase of over 50 members from last year. The golf membership stands at 578, which is an increase of over 100 members from last year. These increases have been a result of many factors. We have created many incentives such as the early bird program, the 6-round pass, the driving range pass. We have new rules on increased guest play. Thursday's been designated as a guest day. We also have some changes in our software, the new software system. Changes in administration has been very, very important in the success we're having up there at the country club. We're no longer outsourcing any of our tennis or golf. We've taken total control of the operations for both golf and tennis. And additionally, the Country Club Management Advisory Committee, the CCMAC, is doing a terrific job overseeing the many complexities up at the club. The bottom line and or the end result is that the country club has had a very solid year. I was going to talk about the bluff, but Margot has covered that pretty well. So I think that is my report for this evening. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. And with that, we're going to move on to Trustee Miller, please. And we need to unmute Bruce.
Sorry about that. Okay, as Mayor Garant has stated, she and I had a conversation with Tom Falcone and LIPA executives. It was a very positive conversation as described. Still a lot of questions. We are looking for capital projects, if you will, on that site that will generate rental income. And there are a lot of challenges to our sources, the power that we generate. We have a a line. It's the Neptune line from New Jersey to Long Island, 600 megawatts. This has gone out on 2 occasions for over a month in the summer times. There is one, they want to propose a second. And the point that I tried to make about that at the meeting was that this is power from New Jersey, but it's power from a grid that goes west to Ohio and south about as far, under which you have substantial coal burning power plants still extant. And the lakes in the Adirondacks, there are many that look very lovely, but are dead because of acid rain. The New York City water supply is quite acid, needs to be neutralized. And bringing in more power from a second Poseidon line would, in my opinion, encourage more acid rain, air pollution. The carbon that we generate moves out to sea across Long Island Sound. The carbon that they generate comes to us. We also talked about maybe an experimental hydrogen generation plant. This is breaking water down, or in some cases other chemicals, but essentially you get a neutral, non-polluting source of energy, hydrogen, which when burned combines back into water. So that's that on that issue. On another issue, just to report some good news, we have the Long Island Sound Study has done a report. I'm a member of that, and the village had sent me to a conference before COVID a couple of years ago in Connecticut. The square miles in Long Island Sound that are subject to eutrophication has decreased from 386 square miles to 77 square miles. This is all a study done in concert with the University of Connecticut. So that's a very positive note to add. Also, I have sent to Steve Gallagher some information regarding NYSERDA subsidizing the purchase of electric or hybrid vehicles. He's going to take a look at that. He seemed interested in it when I spoke with him. So that's all I have on that.
Thanks, Bruce. Okay, and so we are going to move on to Trustee Snaden.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a lot of updates on our parking department. The administrator for our parking department has been doing monthly webinars with the local businesses to continue building and keeping that strong relationship between the village and their businesses. They had one, and as a result, or the first one went really well, and as a result, both Danford's and Earring Taboo have become have updated their digital technology because they were able to understand, what's out there and what's available. So that was a positive outcome there. Analyzing, our administrator has been analyzing the shuttle costs, the Stony Brook shuttle we want to bring back this year. Now that school has opened up and the village is opening up, bringing those students and patrons into the village without their vehicles and the need to park is a win-win for everyone. So we're looking into the pricing on that, but Stony Brook University has agreed to contribute 50% of whatever that cost is. So that is a big deal for us to bring those students in at a lesser cost to the village. We're also looking at a possible additional site for electric charger on the east side of Main Street. We have a few now on the west side, and we were testing those out, and they are going very well. So we're starting to look at a good location on the east side in one of the parking lots over there. the Lobster House is the first to install a digital kiosk in their vestibule. People were telling the owner of the Lobster House that as convenient as the phone scanner is, some people don't like to use the phone. They still like to use their credit card. And so the Lobster House reached out to us, and we did some research and found this kiosk, and it works out great. So that's right in the vestibule of the Lobster House. They're the first ones to do that. But I think it's a great example of where we hear what the businesses have to say, we figure out what's best for everybody, and we make it happen. And so far, we've had great feedback with that. And an update on the New Barnum lot. There have been 1,800 cars that have parked in that lot since May 7th. 1,800. It's unreal. I mean, you think it's only 46 spaces. That's what I used to hear. Well, you're building a lot, that's great, but it's only 46 spaces. But when you consider that turnover, 1,800 cars that would have had to have that need to park elsewhere, I'm thrilled about that. With the code department, we touched on a lot of what I had to say earlier in the meeting. I did visit the 6th precinct with our code chief, and it's unbelievable the technology that they have there that we have been able to tap into with having our cameras linked to their real-time crime center. We met with the acting commissioner and all of the employees there. Like our chief said, that they are now, that room is now active 7 days a week. They were thrilled with our cooperation with them and thanked us for that. And it was very impressive. And I continue to plan to go there and keep updated on what they have with their new technology. It's changing so rapidly, but we are on board with whatever they need. We had a good dialogue with cameras and what needs to be updated or made better. And our administrator is already looking into how to upgrade our cameras to make it better for their system. So I'm happy about that. As liaison to the Business Improvement District, the outdoor outdoor dining advertising is under works. We'll be seeing some commercials on News 12 to promote the village for summer business and restaurants. So keep a lookout for that. And the school, of course, graduation is coming up on June 25th. I do have a graduating senior, so we've been very busy with that, as well as the prom. I'd be happy to hear that the prom is definitely coming back. Unfortunately, it's not going to be at the school, only because the school wasn't able to let us know in a timely manner, to set this up. As you all know, the prom starts planning back in September, October. So it is at the Meadow Club. Which, the Meadow Club is the same owner as one of our local restaurants here in the village. So we're happy to patronize that establishment with the prom. So that's on June 28th. And that concludes my report.
And Kathy and the kids they had, what was it? The 8th grade formal was tonight?
The 8th grade formal was, yep.
And hopefully all their picture taking went well down at the village center. I know that's a tradition for them. It's nice.
Yeah, they let us know that they would be down there, and we made our code officers aware just to keep everybody safe and in and out and get their pictures done. And I'm looking forward to seeing all the pictures. So it'll be nice.
And unfortunately, I wasn't sure why it was on a Monday night, but because if somebody had gotten COVID, they would have a 14-day quarantine or something like that. So it's unusual to have a formal on a Monday night. These poor kids and the poor parents, we got to get through this pandemic. Okay, with that, Trustee,
these things are happening. So that's, to compare to where we were last year, I'm happy. I don't care what day it is. They're getting together.
Right. Yeah. That's true. That's a high point.
Yeah.
Thanks for that report. Rebecca, Trustee Cassay.
Thank you, Mayor. All right, so first I'm going to very excitedly share that the build day that was on May 22nd, Barbara, thank you for just getting my M months mixed up when we're submitting my report. She says, March seems so long ago. I was like, yeah, and even May 22nd seems so long ago.
Right.
But we had an incredible build day. We had over 30 residents and other local folks come out and volunteer their time. And it was one of the hottest days of the year by May 22nd, but I guess it puts these last few days put it to shame. But on May 22nd, we were able to assemble all 24 raised beds, dig in and install all of the posts for the fencing, install the rodent guard, and start to fill those raised beds. I want to shout out to Brennan Holmes and Holmes Irrigation. He volunteered his staff to finish
Oh, that's great.
filling the beds, which I thought, I think we had 18 cubic yards of organic topsoil, which was donated by Long Island Compost. And so I said, oh, how long could that take, a group of people to move? The answer is a really long time. So we had the last 3 hours of the volunteer build day, which went from about 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. And there was a shout out to Sal Filosa from the Fort Jeff Library. He was there the whole day with myself and my husband, Andrew. And we had other volunteers from Fort Jeff Rotary, Hometown Hope coming in, cycling through, but and of course the committee members. But at the end of the day, we had awesome kids from Hometown Hope. They were up there in the pile. They were filling buckets, and it just the yardage just took a while. So Holmes Irrigation finished the job. So now we have that garden. It's just waiting for the deer fencing and the gates to go in, which is going to happen within the next 2 weeks. We have our lottery closed. So we had run a lottery for the 20 individual raised beds that closed this past Friday. We're going to see if we got 20 applications for that. We ran the lottery just in case we got more than 20. If we haven't reached that number, we will send out another e-blast and let folks know that they can still submit, and that would be on a first come, first served basis. But we do know that we're pretty close to that number there. So we're really looking forward to the gardening season. Thank you again so much to everyone who came out and has made it happen in every way, with sweat equity or, fiscal contributions. Everything has been wonderful, and we're excited for that. The lottery drawing is on June 10th. So there'll be, folks will be informed thereafter. Another really exciting ribbon cutting coming up this Saturday, as we referenced, is at Centennial Park, Saturday, 10 a.m. Everyone is invited. We are going to have the big scissors. It's going to be my first time cutting big ribbon with big scissors. So please come see the stupid big smile on my face. So we are cutting ribbon for the first of 3 beach cleanup basket stations. So as we discussed a few months ago, they're little stations that have baskets like you'd have at the grocery store that passively anyone who's going for a walk on, in this case, Centennial Park Beach, can grab a basket, pick up whatever little garbage you find, and then deposit it back at the garbage can, which is next to the station. So that'll help everyone help our beaches be cleaner. On this Saturday at 10 a.m. at Centennial Park, we'll also be having, there's Relic Sustainability, who's making this all happen throughout the island. These stations are going in. They're going to have live music for everybody, cold brew coffee, and some other fun things. So don't miss out. Come be the first ones to use the baskets. We're going to do a little beach cleanup then, and we'll see you there. The last thing I want to report on is the short-term rentals. I know we had a great discussion about it at our last work session. And then I followed up with an email to the mayor and some of our attorneys in planning to just follow up on some of those thoughts. But that conversation is continuing to move along. We're really looking at how to balance, equitably, the needs of folks who do want to do short-term rentals. Also, just looking at what's already in our code and how to work those fine points so that we give it a best shot possible. So that is continuing to move along, and we should have some kind of drafted code to put in front of everyone, I would say in July sometime, I believe we're aiming for. And that is my report.
Thanks, Rebecca. Just of note, at those work sessions, we're also talking about ancillary structures, sheds and things like that, and looking at a code revision since everybody's spending so much more time at home to maybe enhance some of the ancillary structures or the code to that effect. Mr. Egan, our attorney.
No, thank you, Mayor. I don't have anything else to report beyond what Trustee Casey said about the Airbnb, which is a continuing dialogue, and the follow-up from the work session that you led on the accessory structure review to make it easier for citizens and placing these things and kind of fast-tracking it through the planning process. That conversation is actively being worked on at the plan department as well from that work session that you led.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
Administrator Palumbo, Joe.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a few things to update you and the board on. This past Friday, the proposals for the DPW expansion were due. We received 7 bids or 7 proposals. The bids ranged from 500,000 to 987,000. We're currently working with our engineer, J.R. Holzmacher, at this point to review all the bids, and hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we'll be able to present one to you for approval. The retaining wall, as you all know, at East Beach has been completed. The retaining wall at Highlands Boulevard will be completed in the next day or two. I was out there today. They have the concrete to finish up and some grading and hydro seeding, and then that project should be done. I was talking to the workers out there today, and someone from Highlands last week brought out some donuts and I believe coffee for the workers there. So they appreciated that, and this person thanked them. And then while I was there today, someone else that lives in that development stopped and said how beautiful the wall looked. She was appreciative of the work that they were doing out there. So it seems like the folks in the Highlands really appreciate and like the wall there on Highlands Boulevard.
Good.
The West Beach washout, construction started today. I was down there this afternoon watching the excavation. I believe cement is going to be brought in tomorrow at some point and will be poured, which is going to be the main base and foundation for the wall at the bottom of the parking lot there to prevent any future washout. They expect to have that job completed by next Friday, if not sooner. And the only other thing I have on here is, which we spoke about already, which is, getting the contractors in to complete the sidewalk repair that you all approved, as well as getting on the paving schedule so we could get the streets paved as soon as possible. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it. And then we have Clerk Sakovich, I believe. Barb, the birthday girl. Happy birthday, Barbara.
Thank you, Margot. Thank you. Thank you. We have next Tuesday, a week from tomorrow, we have our village election at the Village Center. The polls will be open from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. We have the offices being filled are mayor, 2 village trustee positions, and 1 village justice position. Anyone who needs an absentee ballot application, please contact me at Village Hall, extension 219. And our next meeting is Monday, June 21st at 3:30.
Thank you so much, Barbara. Good news. You were told that we were going to have to do a paper ballot. And we said, no. So we're getting machines for the election, correct?
We were very fortunate, and this year we are getting machines. Yes.
Yeah, the county wanted to downgrade villages to paper ballots because they have
Their
primaries, and
Yes.
That's concerning. We pay taxes just like everybody else. We should have our voting machines here, but they were very cooperative with us, so glad to hear that.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. So, Barb, and the meeting on the 21st, we do have a public hearing. Is that correct?
Yes, we do, for the bed and breakfast, the Ransom Inn.
Okay, good. All right. So with that, I think we move now towards public session. No further comments from any board or staff member, correct? Okay, good. So Teresa, can we ask our participating members if they have a comment or question, we'd like to welcome them into the room.
Sure. If anybody has questions, they could raise their hand. I see a couple hands already went up. I'm going to first bring in Patricia Zimmerman. If you could just please remember to state your name and address for the record and unmute and turn on your camera, please. She's coming in now.
Hi, Patricia.
Hello, Mayor Garan. Being as I live in the Highlands, I have to thank you so very much. That wall has made such a vast improvement. The people who work there, I can't say enough about them. There was a lot of work that they did as far as being safe. They made the traffic safe. You know, they
Yep.
would make sure that people could pass without, having any difficulty. So I just, again, thank you so very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. We had a little punch list. I think Kathleen might be on this meeting too. She's going to remind me once that wall goes up what the next step is. I'm sure.
Okay. Good luck in the election.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Patricia. I'm going to bring in the next person up is Kathleen. So Kathleen, same, please state your name and address for the record and unmute and turn on your camera.
Hi, Kathleen. You got to unmute your microphone.
Can you hear me now?
Can hear you now.
Fantastic. Oh, you just read my mind, Mayor Garan. I'm telling you, just make me laugh. First of all, I want to thank you for that fabulous retaining wall. The quality, I mean, it is fantastic. The look of it, everything about it, it's just, you add that along with the gas lamps that you put up, the flowers that are hanging, the sidewalk that you've installed, the beautiful mowing that's been done by the parks. And it's just fabulous. And now that next step, as you know, are those trees that just go from the retaining wall to Columbia. And then we'll be.
Right. So we also, I think we all use some plantings to go. We wanted to do some plantings that would cascade over that other the larger retaining wall, right? So we'll talk.
Okay, great. Wonderful. Thank you.
So wait, Kathleen, what was your last name again?
Riley, Riley, and it's at 17 Leeward Lane in the Highlands condominiums.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kathleen.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Who's next?
Okay, the next one, it looks like her name's kind of all pieced together, maybe Myrna Lee Gordon.
Oh, Myrna. Okay. Myrna.
Okay, if you can just unmute and turn on your camera, please. And please state your name and address for the record.
Okay.
Mayor Garant, Myrna's in the room, I believe.
Hi, Myrna. How are you?
I'm
Hi.
good. Marco.
Good.
Good meeting, and I'm glad that a lot of it was talking about our beaches and some of our parks. My question, I don't really have a question, I just have a thought. You know, when I drive down to the beaches all the time, I've been down there for decades, and I drive down, the views take my breath away. And I was down there this weekend, and I was looking at the expanse of the beach, especially East Beach. And it was a beautiful, beautiful sight. It just seems that there has always been an unwritten rule of people going to the beach, that whenever you walk down to the beach, people are very mindful about where they sit. I'm not sure about if it had to do with the COVID, but people always sit far apart. So my thought was, and I also stopped at the concession, and everybody was really, really nice. I just want to get on top of something before it happens, and it may not happen. The beauty of our beach has to do with it being very, very serene, no obstructions, few buildings. And I'm hoping that in the future, if anybody comes to you or to Stan or Recreation and says, can we start putting up some recreational equipment, that you think this through to keep the environmental beauty of what we have there. I know in the past there were swings there, but I'm just hoping that if indeed a group of people come, that we really keep it as beautiful and as natural as we possibly can. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. What I also read in the newspaper a few weeks ago was the concession. And once again, it was a suggestion, and it may not even happened, but there was a statement in the papers that maybe the owners or the renters of the concession.
Sorry, that's my dogs, but keep going, Myrna. I apologize.
That's okay. They mentioned something about they were considering, hopefully in the future, about music. I'm not opposed to music, but I would think that if indeed they want to start playing steel drum music or something like that, as they had recommended, we clearly think these things through. While these suggestions may be wonderful, I know I want to just go down with my trashy beach book and hopefully keep what we have there perfect. No obstructions. A pail and shovel are beautiful, absolutely beautiful to have. So that's my first thing that I wanted to mention. So that was basically, I just wanted to ask you and the trustees to please keep this in mind in terms of what we have there and to maintain that beauty. For those of you who don't know, I was part of building that beach in the 1970s. And that building was built by architect Tony Lorio. And we designed that building and we picked the brick to coincide with the bluffs. That was the color of the bluffs. Those trees weren't even there. It was just dirt. And so that's how we're concerned about the natural beauty of our beach. And to me, it is a place of serenity. And I just wanted to add that little feature and to always remember that if people come to you and say, can we put up this and can we put up that? So I thank you for giving me the time to mention this.
No,
Myrna,
thank you.
Myrna, could you please give me your address?
Yes, 111 Rustic Road, Port Jefferson.
Thank you.
You're
No,
welcome.
thank you, Myrna. One of the things we did before we had the 80,000 cubic yards of sand in front of the rip wall was we tried to get people back to the beach. And so we had a few Friday night family nights where we are inviting families down. So that's kind of maybe the concept there. And I do think that the Snack Shack vendor, just has a little, sort of Caribbean music playing when you go to the shack, to enjoy your lunch. But I don't think we're getting anything beyond that. And I agree with you. The beach is a very special place. I don't know when the swing set was installed, which used to be down on the easterly end.
Yes.
But I think at this point, I think all of us wholeheartedly would agree that it's not in the best interest of the beach or, having anything installed in the sand or anything further. So I'm not sure the condition of the gazebo at the end, on the easterly end also. I think it's on the precipice. We're trying to maintain that because every once in a while you do need a little shade or a table to eat at, but nothing's in our on the horizon for us as far as doing any other types of improvement or building or anything like that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thanks for participating. It's good to see you. Who's next, Teresa?
Okay, we have Chen with their hand raised. I will bring you in, Chen. Please state your name and address for the record and turn on your camera and unmute, please.
Hello.
Hi, Chen. How are you tonight?
Thank you. I'm all right.
Chen, wait a second. What is your last name?
My last name is Lee.
Spell it.
Lee.
Okay, and your address?
8 Dual Court, Port Jefferson, New York, 11777.
Thank you.
I'm so glad that Highland retaining wall is doing well. Unfortunately, it is a very sad story for the East Beach retaining wall. As many of you may already know, that there is a huge landslide due to the improper excavation of the East Beach retaining wall. Given the pending landslide erosion liabilities of contractors who did this improper excavation, has Village planned for the any payment schedule change for the contractors?
I'm sorry, for any payment schedule change? Was that the question, Jen?
Yes. So to anticipate the potential, the actually pending liabilities caused by the
well, so I believe, and Brian, correct me if I'm wrong here, we still have a bond with the contractor. And I think the wall was actually built. We changed the plan. So I think They
Thank
didn't
you so
chart,
much for that prompter. Yeah.
we changed the scope of the plan, but that was a lump sum bid. So no, there's not going to be any change to payments, or I'm not sure. I'll have to speak to legal counsel to see if we withhold payment or a portion of payment to make sure the wall stays in place as, but that's something I can discuss with legal. There's nothing on the agenda tonight for payment to them for the wall at this point in time.
I see. I just let you know that the landsliding is still continuing, so it's not stopping yet. So the fix is not working. Is still problematic. The temporary fix. So the land is still continuous sliding.
We went there today. We saw the grass is growing up there, Chen. So we'll
Right,
discuss
there's
this
grass.
with you.
Mhm.
Yep. Well, the bamboo's in place. The burlap is in place. We had 2 very, very severe, heavy days of rainfall. We watched that slope very, very carefully those 2 days. We'll have the engineers go back and do the lines. I don't know technically the phrases. Joe, what's that phrase when they go out there and they take a
Elevation.
reading?
The survey.
Right.
No, right.
The
I
surveyor
understand.
goes out and takes measurements from different points.
When they do that, would you please make sure this time notify us, and so they do not just arbitrarily going there without our permission, without our knowing anything about it at all. So they have been doing that many times, which is quite concerning and quite upsetting.
Okay, so Chen, we'll follow up with you, and I'll speak to legal counsel, and we'll get back to you. But no, we haven't made any payments yet, and we'll talk about whether or not we should withhold some payment or release the bond at this time.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
In response to Chen's thoughts, I was going to follow up with legal or Joe to see if the money that the village is outlaying towards engineers, the extra cost that the village has had to outlay for the project to oversee it, that was unforeseen on the village, if that could be discussed as far as deducting that from the ultimate project cost, being paid towards.
I think it's
Right,
safe
right.
to say
So-
go ahead, Joe.
So I discussed that with our insurance broker, and at this time, the response, for lack of a better term, was it's the cost of doing business. Obviously, if there's a claim that arises out of the incident that occurred, and there's evidence of any negligence or wrongdoing, or term, Brian, help me here if I have the wrong terms, then obviously the village itself will look to recuperate or receive restoration for anything additional that it had to outlay as a result of the construction of this wall.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that all of those options are on the table. Nothing is foreclosed. We're not going anywhere. They're not going anywhere, and everybody's watching that slope really close to see what's happening. So we're all very keenly aware of it. Nobody's turning a blind eye, and we're going to keep a very sharp eye on it. We know who, and at the end of the day, if we need to hold people responsible, we have the means and methods to do that.
Thank you so much for your considerations, all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Chen. I'm sorry. So Teresa, who's up next?
We have one more person with their hand raised, Donald Pollock. I will bring you into the room. If you could please unmute and state your name and address for the record.
Can you hear me now, Mayor?
Yeah. Hey, Don, how are you?
Hey, I have 2 things that I'd like to ask about. Isn't there a meeting tomorrow night, candidate debate?
Yes, there's a debate at Village Center, 6:30 to 8:30. Yes. I don't know if that's proper for us to announce during an official business meeting, but yes, thank you.
Well, it has to do with the village, and it has to do with voting. So why wouldn't you be able to announce that at a business meeting?
Brian, you want to answer that question for me?
Yeah, it's just a close call. It's usually in the business meetings, how close is the debate to politicking? I don't know if the president ever announces their debates on TV, at a press conference, but no, we got the point. We said it. You said it. And we entered it. And there is one tomorrow night. That's it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Don. What else?
The second thing is the speed signal. Last week it was on North Country Road, east of Mather Hospital and west of Pine Hill. Okay, on 3 different occasions, I spent an hour there. Okay, and at the 3 hours spent there, one vehicle slowed down. And you know what the vehicle was that slowed down? An ambulance going into Mather. Okay, everybody else was above the speed limit. If there's no enforcement, okay, and our code cannot do any enforcement. If Suffolk County doesn't do any enforcement, okay, the speeds are never going to come down. As far as West Broadway is concerned, the speed has always been greater going up the hill than coming down the hill. Okay, and that's where those problems usually, okay, take place. But again, if Suffolk County's not going to be issuing any speeding tickets, okay, it's just going to go on and on and on, and it's never going to stop.
I don't disagree with you, Don. We had Officer Casey at the beginning of the meeting. We asked her for extra patrol on East Broadway, I think Barnum and Main. And we're trying to get as much Suffolk as we possibly can. I think, we do have the whiskey tour now with us Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So hopefully we'll have them sit at these hot points.
All right, let's see if anything changes. And my address is 7 Quarry Court.
You have that, Lorraine? Lorraine?
Yes, I have it.
Oh, you have it. Okay. All right. Thank you, Don.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Teresa, anybody else tonight?
Yes, we have one more person with their hand raised. Don Poe. I will bring him in. Please state your full name and address for the record and unmute and turn on your camera, please.
Hello?
Hello?
Hey, my video's not clicking on. What is the plan?
I'm sorry, could you please state your name and address for the stenographer? Thank you.
Don Pollard, and I live in the Riviera, Rockledge, Bath.
We need the number, please, Don.
73,
Thank you.
Wait, 73 what?
Rockledge,
Okay, and how do you spell your last name?
Pollard.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Is there any plan in place to try to stop these bicycle issues? We had the motorcycle, dirt bike that was cruising on the sidewalk last week. People are jumping out of the way. My daughter almost got hit. They've already started. We had issues with them last year. Is there any plan in place to kind of put a halt to this?
So Kathy Ann, you want to address that? Because Chief is no longer with us.
Sure. So the plan is right now we have our whiskey tour that the mayor had mentioned, and we talked about at the beginning of the meeting. The whiskey tour are 2 dedicated Suffolk police officers that stay within the village during the time that they are here. That's something that we do in the busy season. The incident that you're referring to, I believe that was something we read on social media, and our code officers had been the first on the scene when that call came in and handled it to the extent that they are able to, and put the call into Suffolk Police, who came down and handled it on their end. More presence is what we're doing. We have a dedicated Main Street officer. We have our officers on bicycles. We have our dedicated Suffolk police officers. We have our patrols on foot. It's just having more officers down here during the busy times.
It seems like they come from uptown. So maybe if somebody was maybe more by the church or something to stop them, that might be a great idea.
And we have had that. We have had calls that come in. We see them coming even before they even reach the train tracks. We often get those calls from, we have relationships with businesses up there. We have cameras up there. We have, anybody that's up there at the time, residents that happen to be out of the village. I get calls all the time about bicycles that are in and around the village, and motor vehicles, hey, heads up, appears they might be heading your way. Now, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But the second I get that call, I will, get right on the phone and let my code department know exactly, the description, where they are, which way they're heading. And those cars will go up and meet them at the top of the hill. And a lot of times that will head them off. And I get the call back saying, we stopped them, we talked to them, and they're on their way. So we have been doing that. We can continue to do that. And, that's the see something, say something. We need people, whether they're downport, they're uptown by the train station, or, you could be at McDonald's up on 347. If you see a gang of bicycles, a gang of motor vehicles that look like they're coming into town and not going to be following our rules and our laws, give me a call, give Village Hall a call. That's where we all have to work together. We all can't be everywhere at the same time. Suffolk Police can't be everywhere at the same time, and our code officers can't. We all need to work together. As soon as we get that information, we act on it. I've been told that our response time with our code officers from the time a call comes in till they arrive wherever that location is under 4 minutes. In fact, I think it's closer to 2 minutes. I'm proud of our code and what they're doing. I don't know what more we can be doing, just more of the same.
So I think that particular incident, the bike was heading south, and I think the code vehicles followed that individual out of the village, made sure he was leaving. We get field reports done every Monday morning for the week of events, and I'm happy to say we've really seemed to calm some of the bicyclists down. The motorbike, I think, was something unusual, but I think the response is the answer, and we're doing the best we can to keep up with these guys. They move kind of fast on us.
Thank you.
The moving fast is why we implemented the bicycle unit. It's one thing to be on foot or in a vehicle. These bicycles can cut down different pathways and across yards. Now, keep in mind, our code department and code officers are not able to pursue a vehicle, but they can at least keep an eye on them and see where they are while they await Suffolk Police. So, they will call Suffolk Police, but they can, follow the same path without, pursuing the bicycle or motor vehicle. So that's one thing that we implemented this year because of directly because of the bicycles and problems in the village.
Fair enough. I mean, I don't know how the dirt bike got that far down. I mean, I was sitting in front of Dunkin' Donuts, and how he got all the way down. I watched it, it was right in front of me, and I saw the code officer coming up south to north, flicked his lights on, and the kid turned around and jumped on the curb. So at least he was nice. He told everybody, excuse me.
Yeah, I wish we could prevent every crime that, or every disorderly action that happens in the village. But, we prevent what we can, and those that we can't prevent, we talk to them or get them out of the village or call Suffolk and they're arrested. So we're trying to get it at both ends and doing the best we can.
All right, and just one last thing. I said, they said, you guys said electronic machines. Are they going to be Dominion machines? Just curious.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear or understand.
The election machines, they're not going to be taking the electric.
Oh, I have no idea. Brian, do you know what kind of electric machines Suffolk County uses?
They have the same standard machines throughout the county. I don't really know the brand. I don't know if it's Dominion or not. I don't think so.
No idea, Don, but we'll get back to you on that. Barb, can you check with Suffolk County and ask them the type of machine?
I sure can.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else, Teresa? Thank you, Don.
Thank you for your time.
At this time, I don't have anybody else with their hand raised.
Okay, nice. Well, I want to thank the board. Another meeting, another month of hard work. Thanks for everybody for coming out and listening. Brian, when are we going to get out of Zoom land?
Everybody is starting to do it as they're moving toward. I think it's going to be close soon, Mayor. I think that time's on the horizon.
Okay, all right. It's nice to be at home, but it's kind of hard to run a meeting at the same time. And I'm sure we'd like to be back in a room with everybody. So looking forward to that, and hope everybody has a great June. Good luck with graduations and all the things that are happening with your kids. There's a bunch of you with seniors and school year endings, and hope to see everybody back in July. Is the July 4th after or before the next meeting, Barbara?
Next meeting is it's the 6th, the Tuesday after the 4th of July weekend.
Oh, God, that is crappy. Okay, all right. Well, if I don't see you guys, I'll see you on the 21st, but some people I won't see. Have a good night.
Night all.
Motion to adjourn the meeting. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You have the time on that? 8:36. Oh, wait, and one last thing. Are we gonna sing happy birthday to Barbara?
Yeah.
All right,
think we
okay,
should.
1, 2, 3. Happy
birthday
birthday
to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Barbara.
Happy birthday to you.
Oh my
Thank
God,
you.
that was like, oh.
Wouldn't want to
Happy
spend it with
birthday,
anyone
Mom.
else. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.